welcome into my channel. Today, I'm gonna teach you about eternal return. I'm assuming you have a little bit of knowledge what the game is if you're watching this video. If not, I can break it down super quick. Eternal Return is quite an unknown game, especially in the West. It kind of plays a little bit like a lot like League of Legends, like stuck into a battle royale format. I've actually played something super similar to Eternal Return back in my childhood when I was playing a lot of custom games for Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 custom games had a custom mode called Fate Stay Night, which is based on the popular anime Fate Stay Night, which basically has the same premise. You get dropped into this city and you have to fight it out, and only one team makes it out alive. And hopefully that winning team is you. And with today's guide, I'm gonna increase the chances that that winning team actually is you. I want to make this easy, digestible, simple, and just easy to understand for anybody trying to get into the game. So this is gonna be like a rookie level guide to like get the basics down, and then we can get into the nitty gritty along the line in another video. So come along. Alright, here we are in the main menu of Eternal Return. This is where all of your Eternal Return session will start and end. So, first order of business I would recommend is know what character or characters you want to play beforehand. And then instead of, if you played any game of Eternal Return, you will know you pick a character and then the game gives you a lot of like recommended builds, but it also provides you with like a list of your own saved builds. A lot of people starting out, they will just grab the highest recommended build and call it a day. There's actually a better thing to do. If you pop into loadout, and I'll just go to someone I don't have a loadout for, like do I have any for Celine? I have for Celine. Cafe, Upsword. So let's just take Alonso. My save plans, I don't have any save plan for Alonso. So there's an easy way that you can like find what other people are running and are being successful with. You click down here, search save plans. And now, very important, click on search filters up to the left. Instead of newest, you go most recommended, and instead of English, because there's not a ton of us English speakers playing this game, you switch to display all languages, which means you will get the builds that they use in Korea, for example, where this game is quite huge. And now we can instead see all the goodness. Also, a little bit important to notice here is you don't want the newest, because then you will not get the best build, but you want one that is like on the same version as you. You can see this is version 1.16, which is, at time of recording, the most current one. So you want one of the 1.16 builds, because there might have been changes to the items. So if you want an accurate one, make sure to know what patch it's on, and then pick one that is very highly recommended. 4,133 people has recommended this build. Chances are that it's gonna be quite a good one. And here you can have a quick little look. Oh, like this only requires 2 locations. It requires you first to search an up-down, then in the beach, and then you're done. And you need to call in 1 bike helmet by drone. Also, like, use good information. Like, okay, like, that's the order of business. Then you click import save plan, and then boom, it is that easy. It will now be easy accessible to you next time you log in Alonso. And I would recommend doing this with like any character that you're planning on playing, whether it's Bianca, Bernice, Celine, Kiara, Ekion. Boom, call it a day. And now, just for the heck of it, I'll load into a bot game with my newfound main Katja. I'm actually loving playing as her. I have my save plan named Scooby-Dooby. I have no idea what this actually says, but I know the route is warehouse, chapel, and then uptown, and then we are done. And I'll try to get you like into the headspace that you should be using when you're playing this. What happens if I click quick start? I don't think I've ever done an actual practice game. Well, let's see. So the first minutes of Eternal Return, it is not about killing other people. It is basically a race to get your build done as soon as humanly possible. So for example, if your character has a movement ability, like Katja does on E, which is this, boom. You usually put your first point in that, so you will get around as fast as possible. Also, when you spawn in, you will see where all the other people are on the map at that given time. You will start with 1 bread and 1 water. I usually like to drink the water, so I have more space in the inventory. When you're looting the containers, anything you need for your build down here will automatically be picked up and have like a yellow border around it. One of the things I found confusing the first times I was playing, I'm like, dude, there's so much in here. Like, what should I be looting? But like, no, your loadout basically plays itself. It tells you what stuff you need in what areas. And if you have a little bit of time, or well, basically, if you can take care of enemies quick while you have all of your cooldowns, go ahead. But generally, just focus on like quickly getting to your locations, quickly looting whatever you need, because it is a race against the clock. And if you're at a place that has a lot of people searching for stuff, chances are that it's gonna be pretty emptied out when you get there, if you dilly-dally too much. So, race against the clock, you want to be fully built. And by fully built, I mean that you want a full set of like purple equipments. And I just saw that I see that my camera is blocking that a little bit. Let me move it down for you. There we go, better. So now, you see I'm lacking 1 more item, but I can craft it. Done. I'm now fully built on purple items. Now, you can do a little bit of a farming of stuff near you. If you see one of these surveillance boxes, always take them. My character Katja, she's a little bit special because she can send out her little drone to get them, which is really goddamn handy. So I don't physically have to like stand and get it myself. So your order of business now should be get some EXP, kill some stuff, get their meat so you can start cooking food. Because food actually plays a big role in this. If you played any other game before, foods are kind of like a health potion in this. Although they apply a regeneration buff. So like they will give you HP regeneration. And having good food, eating it at the start of a battle is super... Like, it is super important. It can turn the tide completely. You find a campfire, you cook some food. Once you're, like, when you're completely new and starting out, now I'm playing with bots, obviously. But when you're new starting out, I would recommend, after you've done your build, team up with a teammate. If you're playing with randoms, try and get a little bit of a gauge, like, does anybody on my randoms know the game? Then maybe try and stick with them a little bit. I try to, whenever I play with randoms, I stick with them because they're probably not gonna stick with me. Now I see another player here. It's a Jackie. I see that she is level 3, I'm level 7, so she poses no real threat to me, yeah? She realizes herself, she runs away. She's dead. Normally, you don't want to spend too much time like killing someone once they're on the ground. They enter the dying state, where a teammate can pick them up from the ground, or they can pick themselves up after a set amount of time is gone. Katja has a special trait in her passive that makes it so whenever she loots something she has been a part of killing, so got an assist, she gains a little bit of an extra money boost from that assist. And now we can see that it's 20 seconds until daytime of the second day. On that daytime, or at the start of the second day, there will be some things happening. Meteorites will be striking down on... So I wanted to pop in here and like just make a little side branch and like really hammer in the concept of days in this. So an Eternal Return game works on a progressing time scale of days. You start on day 1, and day 1 is usually pretty chill. It's you going around looting and crafting your equipment. A very, very good like time scale to have is like make sure that your equipment is done by the night time of the first day. That's 2 minutes into the game. Ideally, you would like to have like a minute remaining, but that's a little bit depending on the RNG, how contested your spawn area is, etc. Day 2, the interesting items will be spawning, like the valuable item components. And valuable item components are either meteorites or Tree of Lives. The Tree of Lives are at the same spots every time. Meanwhile, the meteorites are at a random location on the map, revealed to you 1 minute before they drop down. And a lot of the times you'll have a situation where one meteorite drops very close to a Tree of Life. Then you can like bet your ass that like teams will be there fighting for that, because if any teams manage to get both of those objectives, like both a meteorite and a Tree of Life, they will be the strongest team in the lobby item wise, and they are set up like very, very good from the start. Day 3, you're gonna have battle zones and omegas spawning. Battle zones are areas, they're gonna be coming up ahead and I'm gonna explain them. Areas that comes up as red, they give you a bit of a notice before they completely lock down, and any team in that area has to fight with another team in that area, and only one team is allowed to leave. One of the nifty things with a battle zone is that normally if your entire team gets wiped, you're out of the game. But if you get wiped in a battle zone, you're not out, you would just respawn as usual. And respawning is allowed automatically up until day 3. If you die prior to day 3, you will respawn at a selected location that you yourself pick. Like I said, that's up to day 3. After day 3, a teammate has to purchase you from a kiosk for 200 gold. Obviously, if your entire team gets wiped out prior, you're not like if your entire team dies before day 3, nobody of you responds and you're out of the game. If you die past day 3, a teammate has to buy you, and that option is available up until day 5. Day 5, you are no longer allowed to respawn. You're no longer allowed to be brought back. If you're dead by the time day 5 comes around, there is no helping you. You are out of that game. And you get to spectate your teammates until they die. And other than that, day 4 starts spawning alphas, which are very similar to Omega. They're a big boss unit, shows up as like a purple circle on the map. If you kill it, you get a force core, which is a very valuable item. To make a force core, you require a meteorite and a Tree of Life. So killing an alpha is like getting 2 objectives in 1. Day 5, you will have Wickline, which is basically the Baron of this game. It's a boss unit that starts roaming around, and any team that manages to kill it gets a blood sample. We're gonna touch upon blood samples. Getting this blood sample will allow one person on your team to craft a very valuable mythic item, and those are very powerful, and that's one of the 2 ways you get the blood. Blood is a very valuable component. You either kill Wickline or you purchase it for 500 gold once day 3 nighttime has come around. We will also touch upon this. And the map will continuously shrink for every day. It's like come day 5, you will have a very, very small part of the map to fight on. And I think that the game, and like there is gonna be no areas left on day 6. Like ultimately you will be left with 1 available zone, and in that zone there will be like 2 squares cut out where it's safe to be. Then at the end there will be 1 square. So like you're gonna have to fight. So yeah, I just wanted to touch upon like the days. It works on a progressing set of days. And the same events always happen those days, although the locations of those events are randomized, if that makes sense. Alright, on to the video. On set points in the map, you can see them here at the chapel, at the pond, and also a tree of life will be spawning. Tree of life here, and a tree of life over at the temple, which is all the way on the other side of the map. These are highly contested objectives that you should make your absolute best to get a hold of. Or you as a team. It's usually really freaking dangerous to go at it alone. You want a good backup, otherwise chances are you will be found alone, you will be killed by a team of 3 people. Alternatively, your other team, or the rest of your team that is gonna be 1 person down because you're off on your own, they will not have a chance against another 3 man, and like they will get wiped out. And you respawn in this game as long as it's not hit day 3 yet. But even if it has hit day 3, you can still get out, or no, sorry, you can still be revived and brought back into the game by a teammate purchasing you from a kiosk. Kiosks are basically shops. You see, I have money down here. I have 360 at the moment. You can be purchased back for 200 gold, which is quite a substantial amount of gold. So, like, if your teammates or if you has to spend that money buying a teammate, chances are that you are gonna be quite far behind from a team that hasn't had to spend money reviving a teammate. And here we can see that there's still a meteorite that dropped at the beginning of day 2, so like 1.5 minutes ago. That's not been picked up. Now this is because I'm playing against AIs, but like these things do happen. And if you still see things at the map not being picked up, chances are that there's nobody around there. Like maybe you should make your way to it. Like I picked up that meteorite. I can also see that there's a tree of life here in the middle, in the cemetery, that I can go and pick up. And I can see that the AIs are fighting each other. And that's our teammates, so hey, let's help out a little bit, shall we? What's happening now is on night day 2, battle zones will be spawning, which are these red zones. And where's the next one? There. In these battle zones, if there's 2 teams, they must fight it out. They must fight it out in these battle zones, and like only 1 team is allowed to leave. There. I won that battle zone because, well, this girl was dead, and I think there was another AI hiding somewhere up here that got obliterated. You need to stay inside the area of the drone, otherwise you get destroyed. So you can't rat, as we call it. Like just avoid fighting, just hiding forever, because the game will shoot you with a laser from the sky, just to bring a quick end to it. So now I was allowed to purchase a mithril, which is very nice. When you win a battle zone, you get a pick of a free reward. The reward increases if there was a battle in that zone. Some battle zones you'll enter and win immediately because there's no other team in that battle zone. If there's an enemy team or enemy players you have to kill, the rewards you can pick can be like more valuable. Mithril, for example, is a more expensive upgrade material than Tree of Life or a meteorite. So that becomes available if you fight another player in the zone. If no other player was fought, you can choose between a Tree of Life or a mithril. No, sorry. Tree of Life or meteorite. And here we see another meteorite.
I have.
And after you got your full purple gear, your next order of business is to get full yellow gear with a little bit of red gear, if possible. Red gear is mythic, that was added in a recent patch at the making of this video. That are very, very valuable weapons that requires a VF blood samples in order to craft. That's a very valuable material which you can only get 2 ways. Either you buy the blood at the kiosk that I was talking about earlier, that's on the player. she actually deals quite a lot of damage. Boom. Either you buy them at a kiosk for around 500 gold, which is very expensive. It usually takes saving up to the entire game and buying nothing but the blood, or like something cheap and the blood. And generally, if you are a little bit ahead, if you manage to get the objectives on the map, if you manage to get these purple crates, which can contain goodies, or they always contain goodies, like a meteorite, a mithril, a force core, a meteorite, like basically anything, then it might be worth saving, so you can buy the blood immediately when it becomes available to you at the night of the third day. Before that, you can't buy it. Let me show you. Can be called in after night 3. So once night 3 have started, you can call it in. So if you manage to get 3 of lives, you get meteorites from other ways. Go ahead, save for blood if you need that in your build. If you need a red item in your build, then like go ahead and save for that item. If you're falling behind and you're not getting the 3 of lives, you're not getting the meteorites, I would recommend that you instead you save. Let's see what we're gonna throw out. Then you might have to buy your meteorites and your mithrils from the shop here to like catch up and have a little bit of a chance. All of this will come with experience and with practice. So now I want to craft this up at the top right? The tactical armor. You see under it what it needs. It needs a branch, it needs a shirt. I know that there are branches here around the temple, here. So I can go and get one. But I can also just right click it and it will end up in my inventory for the cost of what it says below. So 30. So I'm still lacking the shirt. So I right click the shirt, boom. I lost 30 gold, but I gained a shirt. Now I can craft
restricted area. Are they making a movie or something?
Craft this tactical armor. Since I've accumulated quite a lot of items now, we can take a little time to like do some crafting. So currently I'm sitting at two yellow items or 2 legendary items. 3 legendary items. So I have 2 items left to like change out. And one of them requires blood. And now it's night day 3, which means that I can now go and purchase the blood. And this sniper gives quite a massive freaking boost. You will also like, it will come with experience and it will come with time. But every weapon has like its own effects and whatnot. This one has quite a cool one. It has unique passive burden lead shell. Your next basic attack deals 100 additional skill damage and slows your target by 99% for half a second. And it has a 4 seconds cooldown. This is actually insane. Me personally, I like to say that the game starts when I get this item. Oh, wait. Good, I have it. Then I also buy a Crimson Shard, so I can upgrade it to like get Crimson Shard. It's just an extra buff for mythic items. I usually like to say that the games with Katja, they start once I have this, because it really feels like they do. Now I only need 1 more item for my last thing, which is my arms and Chain of Thorns. Now I'm gonna be completely built up, and we can see there's another player there. I use my W, which is a ward. Boom, they're dead. And now since it's past day 3, he is not gonna be able to come back unless his team purchases him. So what now? We are fully built, yes. Now if you're playing with people, you can, like if you're in comms with people, you can ask them, hey, what items do you need? And they can, well, maybe they need a meteorite. And if you then have the spare money, you can go and buy them a meteorite. Because you no longer really need money. Depending on your situation. For example, you can upgrade your summoner skill. Try to think, your tactical skill, they're called in this. I picked Blink, which is Flash, if you're familiar with League of Legends. Once my money reaches over 100, I can also buy a tactical skill module from the shops to increase my tactical skill to level 3. It's already been increased once with 100 gold to level 2. You can see there's still 7 teams remaining. And if you press M, you get your map up. You can see where there's things you should be heading for. Had this been a real game, it wouldn't quite have been looking like this. There wouldn't have been like this many things just laying on the ground. Oh, that's quite a threat. Like John Woo is usually quite a threat. Now he's controlled by AIs. But yeah, for example, we have a purple chest here. We don't need anything anymore, right? But our teammates might. So what you do when you find stuff, valuable stuff that you no longer need, you can alt-click it. And then it will ping in chat that Hako City Katja has 2 Tree of Lives. And then usually, if there is a team or if there's a teammate that needs the item, they can simply like click that they need it. If they alt-click an item they have up to the top right, it will come up in chat that, hey, I'm looking for this item. So you click that you have one. If they need it, they usually respond by clicking that item and saying, hey, I need it. And then it's as simple as just taking that item, dragging it out, and boom. And now we're a little bit overpowered because we're the only sentient being on the playing field. Normally, walking alone, as I have been doing, is like not the way to do it. Normally, you stick with your team if your team aren't bots. Because like alone pickings will get you killed, or like being alone will get you killed in any situation where you run into more than one person. And I said that you could come back into the game if you die before day 3. Just automatically, and yes, that is true unless everyone in your team gets wiped. And I've had that happen. Like I've gotten my full team wiped before day 2 even starts. I've wiped out teams before day 2 even start. So you never know with the turn on return. If you're not careful, if you get caught in a bad situation, you might like just play a minute or 2. Or it might take you closer to half an hour. Usually, like the cascade, the mess-ups comes when, say that we're fighting a team here. Boom, 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 they're here, they're shooting. We're kind of low, they are kind of low. Then we get another team like rolling in from behind us. So we get like sandwiched between the teams. That's how you have a bad time. That is how you have a bad time in this. And if you play League, you will be familiar with Baron Nashor. Meet this game's Baron Nashor. It is called Wickline. It is this big green-haired lady. Wickline will spawn on day 5, and it will spawn at... Dude, I have no chance against her. That's a solo catcher.
Corpses can easily float on water.
She will spawn on day 5. You will see on the map when she is about to spawn, and then you will see her roaming around. So she's a roaming Baron Nashor. Whoever kills Wickline gets a VF blood sample, which is what I use to create my mythic item. So my red sniper. Very important, then whichever team like gets it gets a big boost. Also, just like Baron Nashor in League, you will get a buff by taking it. And fighting a team that has the Wickline buff is heavily discouraged, and you should allow it to wait out. I actually don't know how long it lasts. I think it's around 2 minutes. And yeah, so if you know another team, they've killed Wickline. Oh, I think we just won.
We can't be the supporting actors after all, can we? Action is our specialty.
Matches against real people won't go as easy. But yeah, we won. We were the last team standing, and good job good job us, and all of that. When I started out, I found this game to be super like overwhelming, but it really isn't. You can follow some basic principles. Pick a loadout, jump into the game, loot everything you need in each zone. Remember, the build builds itself. You just need to look at the container. You don't need to do any manual looting whatsoever, because the game will take every component it needs and just put it in your bag. Then you craft items until you're fully purple geared. You team up with your team. You stick with your team. You try and contest any of the materials that comes up. Try to contest the Tree of Lives. Try and contest the meteorites. There are usually 7 to 8 teams. There's 4 objectives dropping at the same time, so there will be 2 meteorites, 2 Tree of Lives. Next objectives that will come around are 2 battle zones and then 2 omegas. So there's always like half of the teams won't be getting any of the objectives, and sometimes one team will get multiple objectives. That team that gets the multiple objectives will obviously like be the stronger team on paper. But one thing that's very beautiful about Eternal Return is like, even if one team is stronger on paper, them messing up, you being able to like catch them off guard, you jumping them, will be like super helpful and can turn the tides and make you like win against people you should not be winning against. That is like the super basic of it. Maybe I'll jump into another one. AI. Let's do hard AI. I took normal AIs. Just because I don't want to make a guide and then accidentally be jumped by 2 bots. Select. We'll do Kache and so you just like see me do the exact same thing as I can. So like the basic for Eternal Return, they seem complex, but they are simple. But then you get to the next level and like it has a complexity. Like it has quite a high complexity to it. So now again, we look at our build here. We see we need all of these things from the warehouse. We pick up these things from the warehouse. We still need 2 things, right? And there we got our 2 things. Now if you look at the map, we need to head to the chapel. We use our movement speed ability to get there. Boom, boom, boom. And drink your water, so you have place for other loot. Normally players won't fight this early. I say that and he jumps me immediately. Because it takes such a long time killing anybody before you're fully built, so people won't bother. Because even if they get you dead, they will be behind everybody else in the match, so it's not worth it.
Just give me a hammer and a screwdriver. Go to Uptown.
And if you look at the map now, you can see like these warning triangles coming up. That means that someone is producing something or like doing something that makes a noise over there. One of the things that makes noise is crafting. So when I sit down and do... Wait, let me find something to craft. I'll show you. Now I can craft. When I do this, the enemy sees an icon on the map that says that I'm crafting. So like crafting can give you away and get you jumped. One other thing that...
Are these supposed to be pretty?
That creates sound is when you buy from a kiosk. The kiosks aren't available during the first day, but once they become available, anytime you buy from a kiosk, the enemies will get a notification that hey, this kiosk is being used. And also one thing I didn't have time to touch upon: when you die carrying a high-value item like a meteorite or tree of life, you will drop that item as long as you haven't managed to craft it into a proper item. So if you just have a tree of life, you lose that, or that can be looted off your body when you die. Although, the caveat here is if you've already managed to craft it into another weapon, or like craft it into something, that something cannot be looted. Only the raw components of it can be looted. That's why, as if you manage to get a meteorite, a tree of life, you kind of want to use it as soon as possible, or at the very least never die with it, because the enemy that kills you will be able to loot it from your body. And that's a big no-no. And now, when there's 1 minute left until day 2, you can see it up here. You will see where the meteorites are gonna strike down. The Tree of Lives are always in set positions. The meteorites can hit any zone in the game. And it will tell you a minute beforehand where they are about to hit. So this is a Yaki, we're heavily over level. So we have no problem taking her down. And since we catch her, we get extra money, so we take her down. And now we can see, if we open the map, we see, oh, there's gonna be a meteorite at archer range, there's gonna be a meteorite at docks. In 40 seconds. So now's the time where you want to, like, preferably discuss with your team, alright, what do we go for? It's very useful to, like, have one person doing the shots if you're playing with a group of people. For example, now I would be saying, okay, let's get to archer range and get that meteorite. There are telephone kiosks. You can interact with them and then click on a zone, and you will get fast traveled and teleported to that zone, although to a random area of that zone. So sometimes you will do a fast travel like that, and you will end up smack dab in the middle of an enemy team that is also here. Also, when game time turns over to day 2, you can see the location of everybody. So, you, like, I could see that there was one person here, there was one person here. That helps you make a very informed decision. Oh, are people gonna come for this meteorite? And you can also, like, see, hey, there wasn't a single bastard near the Tree of Life spawning in the temple. If you then have a spare teammate that is that can quickly get there and grab that Tree of Life before anybody else, like, that is such a massive W. Like, that will bring you so far ahead. Like, if your team manages to get both of the, or 2 of the 4 objectives in the start, that is such a massive win. So we see it's still not being picked up. We interact with the fast travel. We hyperloop, as you call it, which is the fast travel, to the temple. We see that there's some wolves here. If you can clear them out quickly while also moving to the objective, do it. Otherwise, just beeline to the objective. And here we could see that there was a bot ahead.
Come on, let's go.
And they didn't bother about the Tree of Life. Put 1 point into that.
Battle zones have been designated.
So now we have 340 gold. I'll say that I didn't manage to, like, get anything. Then, just to be on the same power level as other people, I might decide, hey, I'll purchase a mithril just to catch up a little bit. Purchase a mithril because I need that to make my head, which is called Twilight. I'm lacking these 2 materials. Either I can go and loot them,
Is that water safe to drink?
but then I must find an area that has them, or I can just right click. Boom, I have it. It cost me 60 gold. But sometimes that is an investment rather than you having to, like, pop around the place even more. Because it is super important to, like, go and kill animals to level up to get experience.
You should at least help with this.
Because every point, like, every level you get, your stats increase, and you get to put more points in your skills. And fighting someone at level 12 while you are level 10 will almost always guarantee that you're dead. The level plays a huge part. Don't fall behind.
Is that water safe?
Super simplified, this game is about getting ahead and not falling behind.
I can just
It's like you fall behind, you lose. You get ahead, you win. Or you get potatoes as teammates, you also lose. It's funny like that. And now we can also see that in... Wait, they've already spawned. Now we have battle zones active.
I'm not.
Chapel has become a battle zone and someone is potentially fighting in there. You can also see that 2 Omega has spawned. Remember, day 2 means that battle zone spawn and Omega spawns. Or is it Alpha? Dude, I can never remember. Let's go to the hotel because we can see that there's both a Tree of Life and an Omega in there.
It's efficient for moving around. I love the rooftops of tall buildings.
So here it is. If you kill this one, you get a mithril. Which is very valuable. So day 2, your team chooses, or like you and your team chooses, do you go for a battle zone or do you go for a mithril?
Did you get any special material? There's an item that I can gather.
And remember, activate these camera centrals whenever you can. If you see on the map here now, I have some vision. Like here, you get vision over the security cameras. So like they become free wards. Another way to get free wards are the cameras I'm carrying around here. You get them by killing bats.
The rooftops of tall buildings.
Just gonna punish this little bot. Not chickens, but bats. I'm trying to remember the closest bat around here. I know we have one bat at Uptown. They recently switched around the spawn points. So I don't know them all by heart anymore. Oh, and here we can see a meteorite spawning in 1 second. Since we're already here, we're gonna pick that up. And tactical armor requires a 4 score. A 4 score you can make with combining a Tree of Life with a meteorite.
Oh, that's a special material, isn't it?
So let's craft that.
I'll recommend you an item.
And we're free,
To make something like this.
free gold equips, or free legendary equips into this. So what we need now is we need the Widowmaker, the red weapon, and we need the Chain of Horns arms.
Where did you learn that?
Then we're gonna be fully built.
Targeting cell.
And while you're not doing anything special, like you basically you go around farming. Bears are worth a lot of money. And they also have a chance to actually contain... oh, here's a team of 2. Even though they're bots, like I might have to actually be a little bit careful now. Although his bot friend left him. And when you're kiting in this, A, like you click A and then you left click, you will do an attack move. Oh, dude, I might actually be in trouble. And what I'm doing now, while I'm fighting, I'm also eating my food that I have in my inventory. I was trying to get the boar to actually attack her. Boom.
Did I
Because the boar does rush. If it hits anybody, they get knocked the heck away.
know? This is just
They can crumble.
Do you want to learn how to do stunts?
So we need to make a 4 score. We need a meteorite and we need a Tree of Life. We already have a Tree of Life, so let's head down to this meteorite to pick it up. Here we see a bear, and remember, bears are precious because they can actually contain the valuable items known as Tree of Life, meteorite, mithril. Wait, can it contain mithril?
That's a familiar smell.
Yeah, I think it can. I think so.
Salt and the odor of gunpowder.
So now we take up this meteorite, and then we can build another 4 score.
Making a movie or something?
Oh, that's a special material, isn't it? I'll recommend you an item.
But yeah, I would say that the reason why people like the biggest frustration with this game is your teammates not like playing with random people and then not having them group up or like stay together.
Sorry.
It's definitely a game more enjoyed with friends that you can communicate with. I played thousands upon thousands of hours of League of Legends, but I honestly have much more fun with this nowadays. I'm absolutely loving it. So now we're only needing one thing, and that's a blood. The blood. To make the Widowmaker. Since I purchased a mithril before, I don't have as much money this game as I did the last one, yeah?
Sorry. Actually, I'm not.
So a blood costs 500, which you can see if you hold over the item. Credits required to use at a kiosk. 500. So if I manage to get roughly 150 more, I'm gonna be able to purchase the blood. Shit.
I feel a little guilty.
The enemies have a little white bar under their health. If that bar empties and you keep on like dragging the enemy away, they will reset and tether back. And you will also like learn farming routes and whatnot. Like I know at the back of my head now where like most of the things are. I know where there's bears and whatnot. Now those bears might be taken, and if you come upon a zone where like everything is dead and you see their fresh bodies, you know, okay, someone has recently been here. There's probably gonna be nothing here at all to take. Then it might be better to like seek greener pastures. So go to a hyperlink and see where can I go. For example, now we can see Stream. Stream has a tree of life.
I gotta say,
And I think it also had a purple box. They don't show up in... Yes, it has a purple box here. So let's loot it.
what are you doing?
Boom, another mithril. Now I have 2 mithrils. I don't need any more mithrils. So what I do now is I'll alt-click it. Katja has 2 mithrils. If anyone on my team needs it, they can now tell me about it. Now you might be laughing at these bots, but sometimes these are your actual teammates. It's a little bit disheartening.
We can't be the supporting actors after all, can we? Action is our specialty.
So we cleared out the threats.
This is
We now go and pick up the Tree of Life.
A tree of life is
Even though we don't need it, we don't want the enemies to get it. There are also more things you can do. If nobody on your team needs a mithril,
I'll recommend you an item.
nobody needs it. You don't want to die with it so the enemies get it, right? What you can do is you can get water from specific locations in game. With the water, you can combine the water and the mithril to create a holy water,
This thing's
which permanently adds free defense. So then you drink this or you give this to your tank. So basically you can make a tank more tanky, or you can make a squishy less squishy.
restricted area.
The caveat is you can only drink 3 of these. So like I can drink a holy water. If I make another set of holy waters, I can't use the holy water, but I can give it to a teammate who can. Or same goes with Tree of Life. If I have a Tree of Life that I don't need, I can combine Tree of Life and water to make Zen Vitality. Just click this, and then it permanently adds 30 HP, and it can do it thrice. So 90 HP.
get to it. I hate the noise of running.
Pop me up from, well, slightly above 2,000 to slightly above 2,000.
Sorry.
And
Actually,
sometimes that, like, it sometimes that saves your life. Sometimes that is all you need. And just as in any battle royale, I probably should have touched upon this sooner. The play area closes off more and more and more. And those areas become red, and you're not allowed to be in there. You have a timer here. I am allowed to be in here for 30 seconds. I'm gonna venture out in here and purchase blood, because all the kiosks, which are the C's on the map,
did you get any special material?
have kind of been isolated and put in the red zones. Usually at the end there's one kiosk left that you can still use, and
The meteorite
that usually becomes the place where like the fighting is happening.
get to it.
The yellow areas on the map are areas that are about to be closed off. So in 5 seconds, this yellow area will become red, and you're not allowed to be in there. If you stay there above your timer, you will get instantly obliterated. Now we can see that the area that I'm in, the stream and the pond, became the yellow areas. So these are the next areas to be closed off.
Have you ever seen floating bodies?
Which also gives people a little bit of an idea. So for example, if other teams know that me and my teams are in... I know, now we're going into like slightly more advanced stuff. But
Our specialty.
if a team that is here
Actors after all.
in Cemetery knows that there's 2 teams in Stream and Pond, they can see those streams just became, or those areas just became yellow, right? That means that any team here must leave this area eventually. And one popular way to leave the pond is jumping on or standing on this little jump platform, hopping over here. Now you could have an entire team, like just because like that it's a high value chance, or like there's a high chance that that will happen. You could have an entire welcome committee waiting here and just like blast your ass as soon as you get over. Especially if they've been like super smart and like put out a ward. Like that. So now an enemy team comes walking here, I will see, like you will see it. Of course they can destroy the ward. But if they destroy the ward, you also know, oh, there's probably a high chance that they are gonna be jumping over. So like prepare, like load up, boys. Lock and load. So wards are super useful. Like I said, you only get them from bats.
From the number of people I've shot.
This is a bat, for example, mutant bat. This is replay bots. Maybe nobody has looted them. Yeah. So this is a surveillance camera. Boom. You see, the rarity on this is slightly lesser than the rarity of this, because I've combined this surveillance camera with a binocular to make a telephoto camera. Science, am I right?
Stinky little thing.
And binoculars you also primarily get from bats. Bats are super, like, loot everything you kill. Loot everything you kill. If you need some food, pick up some meat. But especially if you kill bats. Dude, even as a bot, he's scary.
This is just the beginning.
Now we're just cleaning house. And now there's only gonna be one safe area left on the map, and that's the factory. And we also have Wickline running around in here. Since I can't get my bot teammates to attack, and I'm not strong enough to take on Wickline like on my own,
Dr. Weakline.
let's just have Dr. Wickline run around the state, please. What else? What else is there to touch upon? And like I said, I was gonna keep this simple. I hope I'm keeping it like simple enough. And of course, like you don't have to adapt all of this at once. Just get the basic stuff done. Just understand that like the crafting is simple. It might not look simple, but it is super simple. Your loadout kinda builds itself. So that was the last player alive, so that means we won again. But your loadout kind of builds itself. You just go where the loadout tells you to go. So on 1, 2, 3. Ping, ping, ping. You put the items you get like together. Put them together. Craft full purple. Join up with your team. Try and get a meteorite or tree of life. Go around, kill animals. Gain experience, gain money, buy stuff when you need it. Like always get ahead. Like always have the mentality like okay, like I need to get stronger. Like you don't want 10 seconds when you're not doing anything. Kind of like where are we going? Like should we maybe? It's like no, like have a plan. Like have a plan. You're going to one place. Good. Where are you going after that? Like, always be the next step ahead. Where are we going after this? Like, look at the map. What is happening on the map? What is spawning? What can you try and, like, battle for and take and contest? And like, you will do fine. Obviously, the matches you saw are against bots. So, like, I was never in any real danger. And matches against players are gonna vary. Would you like to see me like upload proper matches? Let me know. but I think it's like gold to have watched this beforehand, so you kind of have a like base understanding of what is happening. I'm also live quite often streaming this over on Twitch, and I'm gonna start streaming it here on YouTube. So, like, if you have any questions, like, please pop in. And I'm trying to like get as much information as possible, condensing it as much as possible, and like giving it to you in a easy, digestible format. I was gonna keep this to around like a 15-minute video. I see that we're at 45. So I'm sorry about that, but there is just a certain level you can get to, or like it has to be to some kind of like base level to make it a worthwhile guide. Because the things I could have taught in only 15 minutes, at least the way I teach it, would like not have been enough to give you the information you needed. And I still consider this to like be a very much a beginner's guide. There are so many. I don't want to overwhelm anybody, but there are so many like more dimensions to this. Like team compositions is one. Just like in League, you preferably want a tank, you want a ranged DPS, and perhaps you want a backline assassin. And finding a character that you yourself really enjoy is also super important. One good thing is that almost every character in this has like its counterpart in League of Legends, or rather League of Legends has a counterpart in these characters, or more often than not, the characters in this are like 2 League of Legends characters combined into one. I'm trying to think of like a good example. Isol. This is basically Teemo. This is basically this game's Teemo. You go around, you put down mines, you're super annoying to deal with. He's actually like really freaking strong. Like I'm terrified of Isol players. You have Shuichi, which is basically your Katarina / Lee Sin. Super high skilling, but high skill ceiling, but can wipe your entire team if you're unlucky. But yeah, I think I managed to get the essentials. I hope you have a little bit more of an understanding how you're supposed to play. Always had the mindset, like get ahead. Preferably by getting all of the objectives, but if not the objectives, make sure that you farm the hell out of animals. Get ahead, stay grouped, because you will not survive if you run around solo or if your teammates choose to run around solo. If you're playing with randoms, try to get some sort of communication with them. Like you can type, and the game actually has a voice chat, although I don't feel like too many people use the voice chat. I have a lot of Eternal Return players in my Discord. Like if you feel like you want someone to teach you the game even more, like pop in there. Eternal Return also has its own Discord with super friendly people. From what I've seen of the Eternal Return community so far, like they are amazing people. They've been super helpful when I try to learn the game, and like I'm still learning the game because it has a lot of depth. There's a lot of changes, and there's a lot of stuff like there is a lot to learn, and it is gonna take some time. But I think once you get over that first threshold, like that first step, that like where you go from I don't have any idea what I'm doing to I know what I should be doing, now I just need to do it. Because it's one thing, like having someone tell you what to do, to like understanding what you need to do and put it into practice. But hopefully with this guide, you will have come a little bit on the way. Did you feel like I missed anything? Do you have any more questions? Feel super free to like leave a comment. I will 100% respond to it. Or I'm probably live right now. If you have any questions, like come and ask me. I would love to answer them. So until next time. Also, feedback is also super appreciated. I don't do a lot of guides, and this is my first ever Eternal Return video. Would you like to see more? Let me know. Until next time, happy returning.